Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to Adobe Live. My name is Howard Pinsky, Senior XD Evangelist here at Adobe, joined today by the one and only Marisa Blair. How are you, Marisa?
Hi, everyone. So glad to be back for day 2. I'm excited.
Yeah, this should be a fun one.
Yes.
Do you have a good night last night?
Yes, I did. Definitely a little nervous yesterday, but I'm so excited and ready for day 2.
Yeah, me too. So before we jump into introducing yourself once again, let's go ahead and say hi to everyone on the wonderful world of Behance. If you are tuning in live, let us know who you are and where you're tuning in from. We've got Val and Raphael and Vipin and Agnes and Christian and Julia and Greg and
Hi.
several hundred more people. If you're tuning in, don't be afraid to say hi, chat, ask Marisa questions throughout this process.
Yes.
It's going to be a good time. If you are tuning in on YouTube, head on over to behance.net/live/Adobe Live. That way you can chat along with us and ask questions. We will be taking a look at that chat. So before we do that, let's go ahead very quickly. I'm going to hop over to my screen just to kind of go over a few things. First of all, the Adobe Creative Residency Community Fund has launched. If you missed the news, we are launching I feel like Dr. Evil, $1 million in community residency funds. So if you're a struggling creator or you just have projects you want to make sure that you can tackle during these uncertain times, there's going to be a link in the chat in just a few seconds. You'll be able to apply, get all the information, and you can receive up to $5,000, anywhere between $500 and $5,000 to work on your projects, which is fantastic. What can you possibly want more from that, which is amazing. So definitely get all the info there. And before we dive into what Marisa's got planned, we were talking a little bit yesterday about Google Sheets and how it can help you bring in data. And I thought it would be kind of fun to go over a little bit of a demo on how the Google Sheets plugin work. A Google Sheets plugin works. That's English is hard. And you might see Marisa use it a little bit more throughout this stream. We've got some people coming in. We got Mexico City, Montreal, Germany, India, awesome, Bay Area. Hey, Julian, nice to see you in here. People from
Anyone
all over
from
the
Toronto?
world. Yeah, I want to know that as well. I'm from Toronto.
Yeah.
Not right now, but once upon a time ago. One day maybe I'll go back. So.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, at least a visit. Maybe not to live, but at least a visit. So here's kind of an example, right? And you may have seen this example. I released a video on this, but we've got a Google Sheet right here. You can also use a CSV file, and you might be working with somebody in your organization, or you just personally like to put things in spreadsheets who, and you want to control all the data. So here we have, let's say, a food ordering application, for example, or a menu. We've all probably used things like HelloFresh or Home Chef or something to that extent, or we've just used or viewed menus online, right? So here we have dishes, we have food types, meal preps or prep time, how many people it's for, the ratings. There's a lot of data in here, and we want to bring this into a design. And even take it further, we might want to update some of this live, right? So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to just simply start by copying this Google Sheet. I'm going to copy that right there, and I'm going to hop into Adobe XD, where we're going to do some very brief designing. So grab a rectangle, and I'm going to draw out a rectangle. And this could be used for the image, for example. So I'm going to go ahead and name this image. Bam. Very simple, right? I'm going to just quickly change the color of the shape just like that, just so we can see it against that white background. Now, it's important as you're designing this and getting it ready for the Google Sheets plugin is to name all the layers within your layers panel to associate them with the columns in Google Sheets. So this is going to be the image column, right? So I made sure to name that layer image. Next we have dish. So I'm going to go ahead and just type out, let's say a sample dish. I'll just type out sushi, for example. And let's change this to Sophia Pro. It's a great typeface I've been using quite a bit lately. Bump this up. Maybe I'll make it a little bit larger. pop that right about there. And I'm going to name this layer, even though it's a text layer and it changes based on the text that I've entered, I'm going to name this dish. Perfect. Now, we've got food type, we've got prep time, we've got people. We're not going to go through all of this, but very quickly, I'm going to just do, let's say, Italian. And this is going to be called food type. Just like, oops. Just like that. I'll make it a little bit smaller. And maybe I'll drop the weight a touch. And I'll move it over. And then we have prep time and people. We're not going to worry about ratings. So I'll just do this. Prep time might be 40 minutes. And maybe over here, it'll just be how many people? 2 people. And maybe for this one, I'm going to make sure to right justify it because maybe I'll snap it over to the side. And again, I want to make sure to name these layers. This will be people, and this will be prep time. There we go. And maybe I'll just drop the opacity of this. All right, so we have essentially one item in our menu created. And again, very important to name all your layers according to the columns in the Google Sheet. Now, to make our life easy, we want to, of course, use our magical repeat grid. So I'm going to select all these elements up here at the top, press repeat grid, boop, there we go. And then drag out a bunch more. How many do I have on here? I have about 9. So we'll do 3 across, and then 3 down. Right? I can just adjust the artboard size to make sure I have some nice breathing room on this. Just like that. Perfect. All right, so we have our repeat grid set up. And of course, you could drag in images and you could drag in text files, or you can dive in here and manually update this entire thing. But to make our life easier, if we go to the plugins panel, if you don't have this plugin installed, hit the plus button, browse for Google Sheets. You can search for it right here and you'll be able to install it. And here's the plugin over here to the left. Go ahead and click on that, paste public link. And you saw some of this from Marisa yesterday. I have the link pasted in here already. And automatically it's going to match up the layers that you created with the columns in the Google Sheets plugin. If it doesn't, you can always manually map them out, but it looks like it did a pretty good job, and I'm simply going to press apply. And it's automatically, of course the text size was too large, but I can always dive in there, make changes if I need to, and everything looks great. And of course the benefit of using repeat grids is that you make changes to one, it changes all of them. And it brought in all of that data from the Google Sheet. But even better is if I decide to make changes, or someone I'm working with decides to make changes. Let's say they make changes to the margarita pizza. Let's say, do I not, oh, I don't have edit, I'm not even logged in. I don't have edit access. I'll fix that. But basically what would happen is they would be able to change the name, any of these cells within the Google Sheets, and you'll go back to XD, you'll press on refresh content, and it'll bring in those new changes. So it's super magical. And I'm gonna switch over to Marisa's screen right now, and she's gonna go over all the goodness that she talked about yesterday. She's gonna introduce herself again, and you may even see Google Sheets one more time. So take it away, Marisa.
All right, thank you, Howard.
Of course.
Let me open this up. All right, so, Right, so I'm Marisa Blair. I'm a UI UX designer and content creator, just in case you're tuning in for the first time. And if not, thank you so much for joining me again. So just really quickly, the agenda for today. So, day one, I just went over the project and I designed some wireframes for my business creation app. And today I'm going to walk you through the visual design of the app, and we'll do some really cool prototyping in XD, which I'm really excited about.
That's gonna be fun. I love prototyping.
Oh yeah. So just really quickly, I'm creating a business creation app, and the goal is to allow users to easily create a business utilizing tools and resources that assist with business planning, naming, registration, and branding. And everyone in the Behance chat, feel free to think of a business name that we can use, because I'm going to prototype the app. I think it would be really cool if we can actually use a legitimate business name that we come up with, just so it's like we're actually registering a business name.
Yeah, so definitely go ahead and throw that in. And very quickly, sorry to interrupt, Marissa, but we also have challenge reviews. So if you are participating in the daily creative challenge that Andrea is running, hit the challenge tab at the top right-hand corner of Behance. There's all the information there. And when you're working on it, post it in Discord. Val will post a link to our Discord server in just a second. And then about half an hour before the stream ends, we will take a look at some of those entries and give you some good feedback.
Awesome. All right. So I'm just going to go back into my day one file, and this is where I designed the wireframes yesterday. So I was able to, go back in and just clean up my wireframes because that's just a part of the process. So really quickly, there were several screens that I designed yesterday. So the first screen is a splash screen. And as you may know, a splash screen is just a really great way for you to, further brand your app instead of just seeing the loading screen. So I, really simply just wrote logo because it is just the wireframe. And then moving on to the login sign up screen. I mean, this is pretty self-explanatory, but I guess when I'm prototyping the app, we're gonna kind of act like we're a new user signing up. So, I have the login sign up buttons here, and then it can lead us to the sign up screen. So once the user signs up, I'll take us to onboarding. And the onboarding carousel, as you can see, it's just a carousel of three, different primary user benefits. So basically, an onboarding screen is it's just a way to highlight the primary benefits for using the app. And the benefits that I chose based on my business creation app is to, create a business plan, name and register your business, and design a brand using just in-app branding tools.
Yeah, I love this because I've so often, I've opened an application, even though I kind of know what it does. I open the application, maybe it'll display a logo, maybe it'll give me like a sign-in experience, and then it's just like, all right, go, have some
Here
fun.
you go. Yeah.
And especially in a situation like this where it's all about creating a business, registering names, designing brands, it's super in-depth. Users need to know what they're going to be doing, and it's also going to help guide them through that process.
Exactly. Like, this is just a really great way to really highlight what's possible.
Yeah.
So now that we've, had some onboarding, just click get started, and then it's gonna lead us to the home screen. And I divided the home screen into just 3 sections. So the first one is your progress, and this is just gonna show you the progress that you've made in regards to creating your business. And then this is the actual, step-by-step process to creating your business. And there's no particular order in which you have to, follow these steps, but it's definitely important to complete them all if you want to, really have a fully well thought out, fleshed out business. So the first one is planning your business. So that's writing a business plan, naming your business. So there's different tools you can use to help you name your business. And then register. This is going to help you register your business. And then branding, but I will not be fleshing out that part for today. So, but planning, naming, and registering, those are the screens that I'll discuss very soon. So then finally, there's learning, the learn section, and this is just educational resources where you can, learn more about business.
Do you think, thinking about the create your business section, do you think it could be beneficial to offer, maybe it could be an option, but maybe offer users the ability to follow along with a very guided plan? I know you have, options there. You have 4 different options, and they can kind of go into either one. I would imagine, in a world, there could be a user or, a potential business owner who might want to follow step 1 and then step 2 in that very guided process. That way they're sure that they're going through the entire thing and not missing any steps.
Yeah, like, I definitely think that's a really good, idea. And the beauty of this is that I definitely plan on maybe even changing some things up. And I mean, I do have plans to live stream, and I actually will love to kind of dive into maybe alternate methods of, designing the app. So
Nice.
that's definitely a really great thing to consider in the future. Yeah, so I'm just going to move on to the plan screen. So this is where you write your business plan. And there's, several steps in the business planning process. So the executive summary, and this is essentially where you just, write a business description, business opportunities, what your business is about, marketing and sales strategy, and this is just a way for you to promote your business. There's a section where you can, talk about the people working in your business, operations. This is just, outlining your daily business operation requirements, and then financial forecasts, and that's all about money.
Of course, that's what everyone loves, right?
That's all about money.
Except when you owe the money. But when you're making the money, everyone loves it.
Oh, yeah. And then there's finally just a section where you can, add a custom section in case there's something that you want to include in the business plan that's not listed here already.
Nice.
So then it's the naming screen. So the naming screen has some really cool features. So this first feature is that you can generate a name. So there's a name generator where you can enter a query. So let's say you want your business to have the word design in it. So you just enter design, generate names, and then it's going to generate different business names with the word design.
I love this. And we talked a little bit about this yesterday. Coming up with a name for anything these days is so difficult. I remember the early days of Twitter. It was so easy to just dive in there, register a name, and you're probably good to go. But now everything, like even my last name is taken on some applications. And it's not even like an actual Pinsky. It's just some random person with a random thing. And when you're registering a business, it's even harder because then you have to deal with copyright and trademark and all these other things. So something like this, where you can enter a word or a potential business name and it searches all these databases, could be super valuable for people.
Yeah, so the generator is just a really great way for you don't even really have to think. It's just going to generate names, and Bob's your uncle. So then there's also a name search. So let's say you do have a name, and hopefully today we can choose a name.
We do have quite a few coming in.
Oh, we do? Okay, I'm going to make a list soon, but I'm almost done. Okay. So with the name search, again, we have our business name, and then it's going to search trademarks, registered businesses, and this is like all in the database, and the domain names, just to make sure it's available and exclusively ours. So once that business the business name is available, we're going to see it's available, and then we can continue to register the name.
Nice.
And then finally, this is the registration process. There's a lot of steps that I definitely want to prototype with you. So hopefully we can do that right now. So right now I'm just going to go to my day 2 file. And really quickly, I just want to go over the visual design that I came up with for the app. So there was just different things that were kind of popping in my head when I was thinking, how do I want to basically visually design a business creation app? The term creator, creation, some religious, images kind of popped into my head. And of course, I don't want to get too much into that, but it was something that I thought about and it crossed my mind. Just being a creator, you're creating a business, you're a creator. I also, the word Genesis popped in my mind because that essentially means creating. Let there be light and darkness. Like those were just things that were, playing in my head. So then that kind of just leads me to the visual design that I came up with.
Ooh.
And just the different colors, like just a really quick design system that I put together to just, bring my app to life.
And you were talking about the yellow yesterday, and it's a nice, yellow's so tricky to get right because it could be too bright, it could be too muddy. But that yellow, that primary yellow you're working with, it works, and especially with that black text. It kind of looks nice. I like it.
Thank you. So yeah, so I used a really bright yellow to represent light and, you know, the creation. And then I also incorporated black to represent no light. And there's potential for something, there's potential for light. So those are just kind of what, you know, hopefully I can convey in some way on, you know, through my app. And I also wanted to emphasize that I used Google Material Design or Material UI Kit to, you know, design my app. I used Material Design icons, and when I was wireframing, I definitely, you know, referenced the Material Design site actually to help me build my kit. And the reason why I did that, and I'm just going to quickly go over to the Material Design website, is because it's just a really great way to really understand the system that you're designing for. And once you have that foundation, especially if you're a beginner, you know, user experience designer, and you're, you know, just starting out, it's really good to have a solid foundation on, you know, the system you're designing for. So if you're a beginner, I definitely encourage you to explore the material system and just, you know, utilize the different tools and whatnot to, you know, design your app or create a design system. And I actually used the color tool. This was a really great way to, you know, figure out how I can lay out the different colors on my app for material design, because it's an Android system. So I just wanted to kind of explore that and play around with this.
Nice, I like that. And very quickly, just a very quick aside, going off of material design, in the States UI kit that I released on Let's XD, also it's on the Adobe XD website, I included as well a material states section. And I don't believe the actual material UI kit I can grab from Google has some of these things, but I used some of the elements from that UI kit and then added some interaction to it. So for example, you know, when you tap on something in the material system, they have this little thing that kind of expands as you tap on it. And I kind of included that. So you have hover effects, and when you tap on it, you have that little, I don't even know what you call it, but it's kind of like a call out. And there's a few different examples in here on how that works. So if you do want to very quickly incorporate some of that stuff, you can definitely download UI kits, either the States UI kit or the Material kit. And it has, you know, stuff like this. So you can just kind of add a little bit of fanciness to your designs.
Yeah, awesome. And definitely I'll check that out.
Yeah, it's a fun kit. I had a lot of fun putting it together.
Okay, so I just want to quickly just again reiterate from yesterday. So because I, you know, designed all my wireframes and just have an idea of where I'm going to place everything, it did allow me to then really style my buttons, because I do recall there was a question on at what point do I, you know, turn just the button that I drew in my wireframe into actual components, because those are reusable elements, you know, when you're designing different screens, buttons, and, you know, icons and all that. So because I had my wireframe, it's all designed now, I was able to turn or make components off of those elements.
Nice. And of course, you know, some of the big benefits of using components is not only can you very quickly use them from your assets panel, but you can also keep everything up to date. So if Marisa needed to change the primary color, or if she wanted, you know, it looks like she has very slight rounded corners on her buttons. If she or her team decides to go for super rounded corners or very sharp corners, she would just have to edit one of those buttons and they would all change, which is fantastic. And of course, you know, with content aware layout, for example, now available in XD, the buttons can automatically resize as she's typing. So there's a lot of really cool benefits of using components. We did have a question from Raphael. He's saying, how do you decide what font sizes to use?
That's a really good question. And I guess that kind of goes back to the material design system. I think when you are, you know, just starting out in design, or even if you're not, I mean, I always find myself referencing the, you know, material design system or the iOS design system. Like they they already kind of have different character styles set up. So once you know that, you're able to kind of modify it using the fonts that you want to use. And also as you're coming up with, after you're, done wireframing, you can play around with the different fonts and different styles just to see what you like best and what looks good to your eye. But yeah, so just kind of doing things like that is just a really great way to establish your own type system.
Totally.
But it's definitely great to have an idea of, or have a foundation for the system that you're working on.
Yeah, I want to talk very quickly about organization for a moment, because I know the XD team is looking pretty hard at organization. How designers organize design systems and files and different flows and things like that. When it comes to design system, do you typically keep your assets in a separate file and then link them, or do you keep them in the same file? Do you store them in separate areas in that file? How does that typically work on your end?
Typically, I keep them in the same file, but I know in XD there is a way where you can have a separate file of different components, and then use that to store everything, and then drag and drop it into your own separate files. And I guess that's really handy if you're working on a team. But generally, because I'm a freelancer, I'm kind of solo often, so I definitely just kind of keep it in one file.
Okay, and to put you on the spot, if you are keeping everything in one file, would you want a better way of doing it, or some additional features to help you keep things organized in a single document?
Yeah, sure. Definitely. Are you guys thinking of something?
Oh, we're thinking of lots of things. We're always thinking of things. And I want to direct this question at the chat as well. What kind of things would you all like to help with organization and documents? And Marisa, if you don't have to say it now, but
yeah,
if you have ideas as you're going through this design, definitely throw them at me, because it's possible that the team is watching right now. And if not, I can always pass along feedback directly to them. But yeah, we're thinking of lots of things behind the scenes.
That's awesome. I'm excited.
Me too. I know a lot of things, and I'm very excited.
All right, so now that I've kind of just gone over my design system, for time's sake, I did go ahead and kind of, applied my visuals to the app. So as you can see, I have my logo on the splash screen. Nice and prominent, because I want to show off my logo.
Nice. And what typeface is that?
It's a typeface. Let me see. Belly Display. And I got it from Adobe Fonts.
That sounds fancy.
Yeah. So if you want to use it, Adobe Fonts. All right. So again, I want to apply the different colors that I chose for my app. So in terms of how I was describing the design system, I want to go from, nothing or the absence of light to light, which is yellow. So for my splash screen, I want it to be dark, and then I want this to be yellow. So I'm just selecting the artboard, and it's gonna, fill the background with a nice yellow. And because this system bar is black, I do want to change its color. So I'm just going to go into my components, drag and drop this. And now the system bar is, more coordinated with the yellow screen.
Fancy. And all of a sudden, just adding that one bit of yellow just makes the app so happy. Reminds me of the Teletubbies for some reason.
Teletubbies?
In a good way.
I don't know about that.
I think it's probably the sun in the I don't know what I'm saying.
Maybe.
But it looks great.
I hope so. Teletubbies.
Now you have to incorporate the Teletubbies in here.
I know. Maybe now I should, incorporate that somehow. All right. So the login and sign up screen. So in this screen, I want to add a really nice illustration. So I'm actually going to grab it from my components. And this is just, I guess, a woman thinking of a business idea.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just going to remove this placeholder, drop it there, and I want this to be yellow as well. So just going to apply yellow. And I'm going to also
even though her shirt is yellow, it still kind of works.
Yeah, because of the black outline, I think that helps emphasize her, silhouette.
Yeah, we have some people making some feature suggestions in the chat. Of course,
Ooh.
I can't confirm anything that could be potentially coming, but I will say the team is thinking about a lot of things. Julian is suggesting either pages or tabs within a document. And we have, where did the other one go? I just saw it. Monique is saying Notion. I haven't seen Notion yet, but I will check that out. Matthew is saying folders within Creative Cloud documents. Yeah, so good suggestions coming in. Definitely the team is thinking about a lot of things. I've had a lot of great meetings where, they're just asking questions and showing things. And I think people are going to be happy in the future. I mean, hopefully you're happy now, but also in the future.
Those are some really great suggestions. All right, so I'm just going to place my buttons.
And Laura's asking, did you draw the illustrations yourself or have them from a plugin or stock?
Adobe stock.
Nice.
Got them from Adobe stock. And actually, let me shout out the illustrators. So shout outs to Way Home Studios. I'm going to be using a photo from them via Adobe, my Creative Cloud library, Master, and Emma. So if you search them on Adobe stock, this is where you can find these assets and assets I'll be adding later on. So shout out to them.
Yeah, I love using illustrations, especially in onboarding experiences. And it's funny because I found, especially looking at Dribbble or Behance, the illustrations go through so many different phases. There are flat illustrations, then there's the very wonky, almost like Picasso-looking illustrations people have been using lately. And then recently, I've been seeing a lot of these 3D illustrations or 3D models that people have been using in their onboarding experiences.
I've seen them. Yeah, those are very popular right now. Very trendy.
And it seems like, especially illustrations, design in general has its phases, the skeuomorphism, neumorphism, flat, that sort of thing. But it feels like illustrations move much faster. There's so many different trends that just keep swapping in and out. It's crazy.
What's your favorite trendy style?
Oh gosh, I don't like neumorphism. I think it's bad for accessibility. I've seen some good examples of it where if the shadows are harsh enough, even though I hate harsh shadows, I've seen some interesting examples. I used to like skeuomorphism because it kind of it made me feel like I'm actually reaching into my phone or tablet and interacting with an actual object. I think, there were some examples where it was way too overdone and obnoxious, but it's kind of fun to see like a switch that looks like an actual switch you can just kind of touch. But yeah, the flat is fine. I think that there could be a world where there is a hybrid between flat and skeuomorphism, which sounds like they contradict each other, but I think there could be that. And the answer is not neumorphism. I don't think it's that, but I'm interested to see where it goes.
Yeah. I really love illustrations and the 3D caricatures. Like, I think those look so cool.
Yeah.
I want to get into 3D. I wouldn't mind exploring that.
Yeah, and these days I think it's much easier, especially with things like Blender or Cinema 4D, which is included with After Effects. And there's a bunch of other applications that allow you to really easily create. Of course, Adobe Dimension is one of them as well.
Mm-hmm. So I'm just adding some of my buttons to my wireframes. There we go. And it's just so easy because, I'm able to type, or add a label to my button, and then it's automatically resizing to accommodate the padding around the button.
Right. Yeah, content-aware layout's a fun feature, especially for things like buttons. Of course, you can go crazy and add, entire groups of elements into a group or a component and enable content-aware layout with some pretty complex backgrounds, which is nice. You can use groups and Boolean objects and masks as backgrounds within your content-aware layout groups or components. And not to give too much away, but content-aware layout will be improving even more in the near future.
Let me duplicate that illustration. So yeah, these illustrations are, I actually modified it in Illustrator before I brought it into the app because they were actually really big. Actually, let me just show you really quickly. Hopefully I'm signed in.
That's one of the cool things about XD is it integrates so well with Illustrator and Photoshop. So you can either open up Illustrator and Photoshop files directly in Adobe XD, or you can open it up in Photoshop or Illustrator and then copy it to your clipboard, paste it in XD, or save it to your Creative Cloud and then bring it down that way.
Yeah, so these are actually the illustrations. And as you can see, there was a lot more a lot more drawings in them. So I actually put a mask over the illustration just to make sure the size is how I want it to fit in the app.
Nice.
So I'm just going to place them. So, like, it really brings it to life.
It does, and it's such a simple illustration. It's just a bunch of lines, right?
Yeah.
But it really starts to make someone feel happier. Then you add the yellow background, and it's just, ooh, makes you feel like you're going to create a business. You're going to do something today.
That's definitely the idea. That's the idea. Hopefully it's conveying that.
I think it is.
So there's this nice search. Someone's searching on a laptop to, name your business, and those are the features that we have. Creating a business plan. It's launching your business. And then design elements. There's like a picture here.
Raphael is asking, do you have any plans to share this XD file when you're finished?
Do you guys want me to share it with you guys? I definitely will.
There you go.
If we get to 10 name suggestions, I'll share my
I think
file.
we're way beyond 10.
We are? Okay.
Yeah, I'd have to go scroll back up and look, but there were a ton of different names. But I think it could be fun if you come up with a case study on Behance, and at the end of it, you release this XD file so, people can kind of riff off of it.
Yeah, that's actually a really good idea. I think I'll get into it. And actually, I will be live streaming on Behance, so I definitely would love to really flesh this out even more.
Yeah, totally.
All right, so I completed the splash screen. I added my colors, my logos, illustrations, buttons, input fields. And then for the onboarding, I have everything I want on all the screens. And then I did add, some visuals to my home screen, the plan screen, naming. So now I'm going to prototype the registration screen with you guys. So we're going to hopefully go through the process of registering our business.
Exciting. A bunch of people are saying yes for releasing the file. I'm going to pull a Brandon. Okay. And if you do want Marisa to release the file, put a little clapping emoji in chat. I want to see how many we can get.
All right. So I definitely wanted to take advantage of component states. I think that's probably the perfect feature in XD to use for, a step-by-step quiz.
Totally.
So as you can see, I have this component, and it's just essentially an active radio, and just a label. So what I want it to do is when it's active, bam.
Ooh, it's got some yellow in there.
Yeah. So this, like, hopefully, Howard, you can help me out because I know we're live and things happen. So I might mess up the prototyping a little. So feel free to help me out if you can.
Sure. We've got a ton of clapping emojis, by the way. I know you can't see it, but
okay.
There's lots of clapping in the chat right now.
Awesome. Okay, I'm releasing the file. Don't worry, guys. Okay, so I have the first, I guess, step in the business registration process already laid out. And really quickly, I just want to demo what I want to do on the next screens. And the next questions that are empty, like these screens, they're just going to be yes or no questions. Mm-hmm. But I want to be able to switch the state like I just showed you for those questions, like, you know, as we're going through each step.
Right.
So I'm just going to hit play and just preview that first step 1 screen. And then it's going to, you know, highlight what we're going to do. So we're registering a sole proprietor business. And then we're going to go to the next screen.
And for those who might not be familiar with XD, I saw that you, when you press next, it kind of slid over. How did you wire that up?
Okay, so just go to prototype. And I did do a little wireframing in advance.
That's okay.
But let me just go to this. So basically, I just selected the next button. And then I linked it to this second screen here. And then all you do is just, you know, make sure the trigger is set to tap. The type is transition. And then the animation is slide left.
Yep.
And then you can just play around with the duration. So let's say I want it to be even quicker. Just going to change it to 0.2 seconds. Make sure the screen is selected. It's artboard. And then it's kind of quicker than it was before.
Fancy.
All right, so let's move on to the second step in the business registration process. So the question asks, is your business name exactly the same as your personal name? Guys, are we naming it a name? Like what do we have?
Oh, let me scroll back and see all
let's
all the names.
So far we have, from day 1, we have Launch Up, Let's Biz, 321 Start, 1A Startup, Biz Up, and Taking Care of Business. So hopefully we can vote for a name right now.
Those are some good ones. Let's see. I did see some more up here. Where was it? Let's see. There's a lot of chat going on, so I gotta scroll. So we have Let's Biz, Knock Knock Busy.
Oh. We have Let's Biz.
Biz Wiz. A lot of things that kind of relate to biz. Biz Buzz.
Like B-I-Z?
Yeah. Click Biz.
Okay.
New Biz.
New Biz.
Bumble Squad.
Bumble. That's cute.
It is cute. There was another one. I think it was from possibly Vipin. Let's see if I can find it. He mentioned something because of the yellow, and where was it? I should have copied it when I saw it.
I get the biz. I get why your guys are thinking of biz, like B.
Yeah.
Is that why, or is it business?
I don't know.
Could be
probably
both.
A little bit of both.
Yeah.
I can't find the one. Vipin, if you're watching, I think you're still here. I think it was Vipin. There was something, there was like a play on either Hornet or Bumble or something to that extent. It was kind of fun.
Okay. All right, I think we have a good list.
Oh, here it is. Bumble Biz.
Bumble Biz. I think that's taken already.
It could be.
That's taken, guys. Has anyone heard of Bumblebiz? That's a actual.
I know Bumble is like
That's an
a
app.
dating thing.
Yeah, and then there's a business. Of course, I would know about Bumblebiz, right? But check it out, guys. Bumblebiz. You can network with different business owners.
Oh, interesting.
Check it out. I'm not affiliated with them.
Huh.
All right, so I think this is a good, set of names. So, Howard, do you want to help me pick one?
Oh boy.
Or chat, tune it, or let me know which one you like from this list. Can you guys see?
Yeah, so we have Launch Up, Let's Biz, 321 Start, A1 Startup, Biz Up, Taking Care of Business, Doc Knock Biz, New Biz, and Bumble Squad. Personally, and don't let this kind of sway all of your votes, but I'm kind of liking Bumble Squad. It's kind of fun. It pulls in the yellow a little bit. It doesn't say much about business as a whole, but it's kind of fun.
I agree. I think Bumble Squad is so cute.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I really love the name, and yeah, I definitely think it really, it's a really unique name.
Yeah. And I think you can probably find some fun Bumblebee style illustrations to also incorporate into this, or the icon or whatever it might be.
That's true. Good idea.
Yeah.
Bumble Squad, guys. That's the name. That's our business name. Thank you, everyone, for your suggestions.
A lot of people are also liking Biz Up, which is a good one too.
Biz Up. Yeah, I like that too.
Yeah.
Should we do Bumblebee emoji for Bumble Squad, or Biz Up, or thumbs up for Biz Up?
Oh, we can do that. Okay, so
emoji?
in the chat,
let's do that.
Yeah, if you like Bumble Squad, put a Bumblebee emoji, and if you like Biz Up, put a thumbs up. I like that idea, Marissa. Now there's about a 30-second or so delay. Yeah, I'll keep a look at it. There's about 30 seconds until they probably hear that. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, so let me just continue, and then hopefully we'll choose a name. All right, so the second step in the business registration process is your business name exactly the same as your personal name? Probably not. It's probably not. So I'm just going to duplicate this component.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to just, actually, let me use a repeat grid.
The votes are coming in.
And it's just going to be a really simple yes or no option. All right, so I already have my two states for the component. So this is the default state and this is the active state.
Yep.
But I don't want it to say label.
Right.
So what I'm going to do, I believe, okay, let me just say no. And then, okay. So let me just change this to yes, no. And then go back to default state.
At the moment, there's a little bit of weirdness with component states and repeat grids. So there's a few things you can either remove it from the repeat grid so that it doesn't keep overriding.
Oh, okay.
Or there's an interesting workaround for component states where instead of including the actual label inside the state, you only include the background and the radio.
The radio?
Yeah, that way you don't have to override the label on both states. That is being worked on, so the team is actively working. I think it's called horizontal syncing. Yeah, they're working on that, but that's a workaround in the moment. So it looks like, I just taking a quick look at this, I would say, as Mika is saying, there's a bee invasion. So I think Bumble Squad is probably the winner.
Bumble Squad, okay. Congratulations to whoever suggested Bumble Squad. We're going to be registering your business. How exciting! Yay! All right, you're going to be an entrepreneur in a few minutes.
In this fake business world.
In this fake business, yeah. All right, so going to go to prototype mode. And because the business name is not going to be our personal name, so I'm just going to highlight no. And then I am going to make sure the active state also says no. And then I'm going to just tap on this little arrow because I just want the button to change states. So I'm just going to tap that and then make sure the transition is auto animate. And let's see, hopefully that does something. Oops. What did I do?
Looks like it wasn't applied. Yeah, try that again. Make sure to select the destination on the right. See in the properties inspector underneath auto animate.
Oh yeah, default state. Oh, okay. I knew I did something there. So let's do that again. Next.
And I think from the default state, you have to make sure to wire it up to the active state.
Okay. Select.
There
active.
We go.
And then no. Sorry guys, we're live. Anything can happen. Okay, let me just see.
Looks like it should be good now, right? Oh, you got to choose the destination over to the right.
Okay, active. Yep. Okay. There we go.
Fancy.
It works. All right, so we just have to do that 6 more times.
Remember the days when we had to have separate artboards just to toggle a radio button? That was a pain.
That was such a pain. This feature is just amazing.
Yeah, component states are a lifesaver.
Yeah. All right, so now that we have our first step completed, let's go on to step number 3. So this is, have you registered this name in the past 5 years? No, we have not, because this is a new business. So again, just gonna go to prototype mode and select no. Let me make sure it's set to active. No.
What you could also do is grab the wired up component on the previous artboard, the one that says, is this business name exactly the same as your personal name? You can grab those and just copy and paste them on the other one. That way you don't have to wire them up constantly.
Okay.
Yeah, it'll make life a bit easier.
That definitely will make my life much easier. So let me just wire the next button. This will lead us to our 4th question, which is the address of your place of business in Ontario? So that is a yes, because we are registering our business in Ontario. So let me just make sure this says tap, transition. We'll have a nice dissolve animation. And then I'm going to just copy. No, paste it in to make life easier.
Bam.
And let's see.
Maybe that's paste the interaction. Oh, there it goes.
There we go. So in prototype mode, that's where you copy and paste if you want to duplicate interactions. So let me just...
For anyone who might be new to the stream, Marisa herself has a business, very successful business. Do you want to go ahead and tell the stream all about the wonderful business you run?
Sure. So I am a content creator and UI UX designer. So I have my own YouTube channel and blog where I just, write about design and graphic design, web design, and just, different tips and tricks on, using the internet, using the web, just creative content and how-tos on my YouTube channel. And I also have, pretty new, I started it in 2018, like near the end, my own creative business where I work with, small businesses in Toronto. I've made websites for a sports management company.
Nice.
And I've worked with Adobe XD, or Adobe in general, which is amazing. And I have an upcoming project that I'm working on, so I'm super excited about that. I have a new website as well. So yeah, that's just a little bit about what I do, and hope to more success in the future.
Yeah, that's fun hearing all the success you've had, and you've done a great job working with Adobe as well. You've, for those who don't know,
Thank you.
Marisa ran a lot of our daily creative challenges way back in the day, and really, set the bar for the level that we're kind of running with right now.
Yeah, that was such an amazing experience. So that thank you so much for having me again.
Of course.
I'm so excited to be here. All right, so moving on to the fifth step in the business registration process, we're just going to complete the address. So the chat, feel free to, let me know what business address we should input in these fields.
Yeah, don't give your own personal address.
Yeah, don't give your personal address, because, there's some crazy people out there.
Yeah,
I know no one, in the Behance chat, but there's people that might not be logged in that are,
Yeah, make up a fun address that kind of relates to Bumble Squad. That could be fun. Raphael is asking, what is your main source to acquire clients?
My main source? Word of mouth, I guess.
Okay.
I think word of mouth, yeah. I actually worked with an ex-coworker. Her husband had his own business and she referred me. I think a lot of my clients come from word of mouth.
Nice.
Any business address ideas?
Let's see. We have Plant Street in 1234 Seaville and Bumbleville for the city. That's fun.
Okay, 1234 Bumble. And then the city. Let's say we're in Toronto. And for a postal code, what's a postal code we should rate? Or is that too boring?
Yeah, it's pretty boring.
Yeah, okay.
The only one I remember is the one where I used to live, and I don't want to give that one away.
Yeah, I was going to think of one, but I'm like, I shouldn't put one that I know. Yeah. I'll just do 555.
Yeah, postal codes in Canada are interesting, because in the US, like, you have a zip code like 90210. That's kind of like the entire city, whereas a postal code can be tracked back directly to a person's residence.
All right, so that's the business. 123 Bumbleville, Toronto, Ontario, A1C 23B in Canada. All right, so now our business name, Bumble Squad.
Nice. A lot of people in the chat were saying that they've been following you on YouTube for a long time and didn't even notice.
That's so funny.
I love that.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. Now you can see me.
And if you're not following Marisa, I believe Val posted a link to her YouTube channel. Go do that. Follow her on YouTube. Follow her on Twitter.
Aw,
you have a great Instagram account too, right?
I actually haven't posted in a while, to be quite honest, but I hopefully I'll be posting again soon.
Nice.
I took a little bit of a hiatus.
Hiatuses are good sometimes. Social media can be way too overwhelming. Especially as a content creator, there's so many different platforms we have to be constantly posting on, and the content on those platforms sometimes has to be completely different. It's just a lot to take in and deal with.
Yeah, it is a lot.
Which platform have you found to be the most successful for you?
For me, between Twitter, Instagram, like all the social media.
Yeah.
YouTube.
Nice.
I think YouTube.
Have you dove into the world of TikTok yet? I can't get into that.
I can't get into it. I'm sorry. I'm too old.
Me too.
For TikTok.
That's when I realized. It's actually the first time I realized I'm really getting old is when I first downloaded Snapchat, and I could not for the life of me figure out how to turn the camera around to face me. You have to double tap on the screen to do it. It took me like 15 minutes to figure that out. And at that point, I turned to my wife. I'm like, I'm too old for all of this.
Yeah, I can't keep up with all the new apps that are coming out. I'm sorry. TikTok is like probably that's my cutoff.
Yeah, I think so. And it's only going to get worse for us as we get older.
It is. Oh, it's so
Kids
sad.
are going to be running around with like implants in their head. They're all going to be talking to each other telepathically. And I'm going to be sitting there with my iPhone 4 or something. I'm too old for this. It's all downhill from here, Marisa.
It's all downhill for both of us.
Yep.
Count me in. Okay. So we have our business name, and let me just make sure this is transitioning properly. So let me wire this to step 6. A nice dissolve animation. There we go, and then we type in our business name, Bumble Squad.
Nice. So I noticed on some artboards you have, like the previous one you used to dissolve, and then some you have a transition and a slide. How do you determine which gets a slide and which gets a transition or a dissolve?
Oh my gosh, I did not even mean to do that.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I got a little distracted, I guess.
I thought there was a method behind it.
No, sorry
Okay.
guys. You definitely should stick to one because that's a little confusing when you're navigating. So I'm actually going to update anything that is slide. Is there a way to search?
There isn't, no.
Maybe that's a feature that could be.
Yeah, but if you do select multiple elements across artboards, then you can edit the transition all at once of all of those.
Oh, yes. Oh, there we go. Slide left. Let's make that a dissolve. Oops. But this is all part of the process, guys. You're probably gonna, when you're prototyping your final designs, you're probably gonna run into, should I do a push transition? Should I do dissolve? Just play around with it. It's definitely really fun to do. I'm having so much fun deciding, but it wasn't intentional to do 2 different ones. I want to commit to dissolve transition.
Nice, okay.
Right. No. So I am just double checking what I've done so far. Have you registered this name in the past 5 years? No, we haven't. Next. This is the address of your place of business in Ontario. Oh, that's a yes.
Now, on these screens, I'm thinking through, if I'm a potential business owner and I'm going through this process and maybe I'm confused about what things are. I'm thinking like when I'm filing my taxes on TurboTax, for example, they might give me a question, have you done X, Y, and Z in the last 5 years? Maybe I have no idea what exactly that's referring to or why they're asking that question. Would there be something on some of these pages, maybe like a question mark or a little bit of a description underneath that kind of dives a little bit deeper into maybe why it's asking me if I've registered this name in the last 5 years?
Yeah, that's actually a really great suggestion. And I think having maybe, you know, a little information icon, possibly, you know, in the, you know, top right corner. Maybe it's just something they can click on and just kind of see a little more information regarding each question. That's definitely something I can incorporate in the app. So I'll definitely, you know, think of that too.
Yeah. That's one of the great things about user testing is, you know, you could go through this whole process and build out these screens, and then you give it to a bunch of users to test, either on their actual device or in the web browser, and then all these questions start to come up. Oh, things might make sense, things might not make sense. It's all part of the process.
It is. And you just have to have fun with it, because at the end of the day, we're trying to make apps that are user-friendly, and you know, it's really fun to just design something that people enjoy and want to use and keep coming back to use, recommend to their friends. So just have fun with it, and yeah.
Totally. And for those tuning in live, we do have about 25 minutes until we take a look at some challenge entries. So go ahead and hit that challenge tab at the top right-hand corner. Check out the challenge information for today, which is, let me go ahead and press that button, is to create a thermostat interface where users can specify temperature preferences throughout the day. And you're going to be using Auto Animate to build that out. And if you're not following Andrea's daily challenges, I definitely suggest you do that, because Andrea is fantastic. She's just like super creative, and her designs are amazing. So definitely watch those. And if you are participating, hop into Discord, post it in the current challenge channel, and we'll take a look at a few of those in just a little bit.
All right, everyone. So for step number 7, we need to choose the business activity that fits our business best. So what is Bumble Squad? Like, what are we doing? Are we web designers? Are we construction workers? Like, what are we?
Oh boy.
So Behance chat, let me know what's our business activity. So it's just what we do, what our business is, you know, about.
I feel like it's like a band, a TikTok band. I don't know why, but that's like the first thing that came to my mind. Just a bunch of kids dancing on TikTok, and they name themselves Bumble Squad. I don't know. But yeah, throw some suggestions in the chat, preferably not TikTok related. And then Marisa will use one of those.
I'm trying to think what Bumble Squad. It sounds like entertainment.
It does.
Like, that sounds like something in the entertainment business. Bumble Squad. Or maybe it's cleaners?
Okay.
I'm trying to think, is there a business out there that is something squad? Like something, for some reason I'm thinking of cleaners. I don't know. Maybe there's a company in my area that's something squad.
Maybe it's cleaners who dress as bees or something.
I have no idea.
Could be fun. Jenna says honey sales.
Oh, that's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
So food industry.
Yeah. Ina says maybe coaches or motivators. Osborne says an ad agency.
Those are good ideas. I think I like the food industry. I like the honey. So I'm just going to write food industry. Oops, let me write that here.
Someone is saying, I have a pain deciding when to use an info icon or an icon with a question mark. These are big decisions when you're designing. Do you use that little I or the question mark? Both of them, I would imagine most people know what those are. But I mean, the question mark is fairly universal, I would imagine. There's a chance that not everyone would know what the circle with the I means. So I think a question mark is a safe bet. But it probably depends on the application and the rest of your design. Chris is challenging me to do a TikTok. I I will never download TikTok. Not going to happen, Chris.
So I'm just researching the different business activities, like the actual terms,
Okay.
just to make sure that what I'm writing is correct. I don't think it's just food industry. Types in Canada. Let's see. Business activities.
There are probably a lot of different activities, aren't there?
Yeah, activities.
Potato farming. There you go. Was that a cat?
Yeah, my cat. Sorry, guys. She's hungry. She's really hungry.
Oh no.
Okay, let's
Better
just
call the Bumble Squad.
Yeah, better call the Bumble Squad. So I'm just going to write a bunch of different business activity types. Food industry, web designer, marketing, construction. There we go.
Nice.
So as we're typing this, I kind of want there to be a drop down. So I'm going to turn this into an overlay. So let's go into prototype. I'm just going to wire it to this artboard.
I think it'd be the other way around. You want to basically when you're in the food section, right? Or that little, yeah, there you go. You want to wire that up to that.
Oh, okay.
That's the one.
To make it an overlay?
Yep. So you go to the field in where it says food industry, wire to that, and then under the type, where instead of transition, you'll want to go to
okay.
overlay.
There we go.
Yep.
There we go. Awesome. So let me just update this because we want to highlight this.
And what's cool about overlays for those who may not be too familiar with Adobe XD is that you can design things like drop downs or entire menus or many different things, search bars on a separate artboard, and then use that design on all of your other artboards. So think of a menu, for example, things maybe sliding in, right? You don't want to have to design a separate artboard for every single instance you're going to use that menu. You just design it once, and then you wire it up from all the little hamburger menus, for example, all going to that same artboard, which is super cool. Ooh, there you go.
There we go.
So you can imagine a world where if Marisa had a few different artboards that contain text fields, for example, she can wire them all up to that tiny little artboard that she's using as an overlay.
Okay, so step 8, have you or will you hire employees? Are we going to hire employees?
Sure, why not? It wouldn't be a Bumble Squad without employees.
All right. So that is a yes. Let's see if there we go. So I'm just going to copy this in prototype mode, paste it so that way I have the same interaction. There we go. We're almost done, guys. Let me wire this to our step 9. So step 9 is enter the name of the person authorizing the registration. So I guess Should I write my name? Or do you guys want to think of a name?
We need some bee puns in here.
Yeah, let's get some bee puns.
B. Arthur.
Bumblebee.
There you go. That could be a good placeholder for now.
Okay,
Chat, you're being recruited. Need some very good Bumblebee name puns. Go.
Well, do you guys like Bumblebee?
That could be fun, Akin. He's saying challenge. He tweeted or posted to Val. Challenge for you would be an illustrative gaming UI XD challenge with Howard. That could be fun. I'm down for that. Matthew saying Buzz. That could be a good first name, like Buzz Aldrin.
Buzz.
Oh, Cameron. Cameron said, Honey Boo Boo.
I haven't heard of her. What's she up to?
I have no idea.
I haven't heard of her with, like, what is she doing now?
I don't know. I'm also too old for that.
Yeah. Hopefully she's okay.
I hope so.
Hope she's doing well. All right. So let's see that transition. Bumblebee. Okay. Almost done.
Nice.
What time is it?
About 14 minutes left until we take a look at entries.
All right. Please enter the information of the sole proprietor. More bee puns, guys.
Oh boy. While the chat's thinking of more bee puns, a new plugin came out not too long ago called Anima. Have you seen Anima? Have you checked it out?
No, I haven't. I'd love to see it.
Yeah, so it's a pretty in-depth plugin. It adds some functionality that the XD team hasn't gotten around to yet. But in this particular case, you would be able to essentially wire up actual working text fields. So you can assign each text field. You can basically tell it, I want to be able to type in this text field, and there can be validation and things like that. You have to preview it on Anima's website because XD doesn't support type fields just yet. But It's kind of cool. If you do need that functionality, you can always use a plugin like Anima. So Vipin is saying beehive, and then Jenna says hives and hive not. Eric says Beyonce. I like that.
I like Beyonce.
Yeah.
Beyonce. Ooh, it's correcting me. Come on.
You do not misspell
Come on,
the queen's
XD.
name.
X. Beyonce hive. Beyonce dot hive at Adobe XD.com.
Jenna, it's not Anima, it's Anima. Anmina, and no, Anima. Anima. Anima's a completely different thing.
Yeah, that's totally different. I don't know anything about that.
No.
Okay. So again, I'm just going to copy this interaction, paste it here to save time. We agreed to renew our business name in 5 years.
Sure.
And actually, in Ontario, you do have to renew your business name registration every 5 years. So this is actually a legitimate, yes.
It's like a passport.
Okay, so finally, are we satisfied with the information we provided? I think we are.
Sure.
Right, chat? Are we? I think we thought of, I think the names that you suggested were really unique and very creative.
Mm-hmm. And of course, there's the big question is, what happens if someone presses no? What does that user experience look like, right? So you can go down crazy rabbit holes as you're designing things like this.
Yeah.
It's all part of the fun of designing.
Yeah, but of course, the purpose of this stream, I mean, I don't want to bore you guys, so we're going to pretend everything is a smooth, linear process.
Of course.
Okay, so...
Vipin says, I hope you upload your work into Behance.
Ha ha ha, good one. Good one.
Well done, Vipin.
Well done. Okay. Guys, I think we have registered our business. Let's see the flow. So I'm going to select the register screen. It's the first screen in the registration process. Okay, let's do it. Please select a business ownership type. We're sole proprietorship. Next. I don't want it to slide. I wanted it to dissolve, remember? A little troubleshooting. Dissolve. Okay, hopefully that's the last of the push stuff. Okay, so proprietorship. Next. Is your business name exactly the same as your personal name? No, it is not. Have you registered this name in the past 5 years? No, we have not. It's a new business. Is the address of your place of business in Ontario? Yes, it is. Awesome. Please complete the address of your business. What did we come up with? 1234 Bumbleville, Toronto, Ontario, A1C 23B, Canada.
Nice.
Next, enter your business name below. Bumble Squad.
Of course. I love it.
Amazing name, amazing business name. Oops. Uh-oh.
Oh no.
What did we do? Oh, why isn't it? Quick troubleshooting. Let's see what's happening. What the?
Looks like it's going right back to its... Oh, there's a scroll trigger set up.
Okay, we'll fix that. That's an easy fix. There we go. Okay. We're back. We're going back in, guys. Enter your business name below. Bumble Squad. Choose the business activity that fits your business best. Food industry. Have you or will you hire employees? What did we select again? I forget. Yes, we will. Okay, good. Enter the name of the person authorizing the registration. Bumblebee. Please enter the information of the sole proprietor. Beyonce Hive. That's an amazing name.
Yep.
Do you agree to renew your business name in 5 years? Yes, we do. And one little final fix. Hold on, let me see. Okay, let's try this here. Dissolve. Yes, we do. Next, are you satisfied with the information you have provided? Are we, guys? Chat, let me know. This is the final step. Are we satisfied?
I think we are.
Okay. Yay!
Huzzah.
Your business is officially registered in Ontario. Congratulations.
It's that easy.
It's that easy.
Now give us money.
Yeah, so that's the business registration process. Of course, it was, modified to suit this app and, this whole, Adobe Live experience. But stay tuned, hopefully, in my future live streams, because I will be, fleshing out this app a little more. Howard, I will definitely, definitely apply some of your suggestions. I think, having some kind of a way for users to have more information, to expand on the quiz or what's being asked of them in each step, I think that's a really good thing to incorporate. So
yeah, and you can build that all using components and states. That way you don't have to put things in separate artboards. State number 1 could be a little question mark. State number 2 could be expanded with some more information, just to keep things nice and minimalistic.
Exactly.
So we do have about 5 minutes left if you want to touch up a few things or recap what you've done, or
Yeah.
tips and tricks, or whatever you want.
For sure. So I'm actually going to go to the splash screen. I'm not sure if we're going to have time to wire the whole app, but let's just start with the splash screen. So really quickly, I want this logo to drop down, like from this blank or this blank screen. I want it to drop down, and then the color to kind of transition to the yellow. So really quickly, let me show you how I'm going to do that. Let me do this. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a rectangle. I'm going to remove the border, remove the fill. I'm going to duplicate this logo, the white logo. And I'm going to group the logo with that transparent rectangle that I just drew. Now I'm going to kind of push it out of frame, just like this.
And for those wondering, the reason Marisa is doing that is that if you were to take an object on an artboard and move it off of the artboard, it would automatically jump onto the paste board, which would disable her from actually creating that animation because it wouldn't be present on the first artboard. So by placing that object that's going to be eventually moved off of the artboard into a group with an object that is on the artboard, it basically tells Adobe XD that those two objects should both remain on the artboard. Another way to kind of get around this is if you go into prototype mode first, and then you wire up the two artboards, and then you grab the object and move it off of the artboard. Again, you're essentially telling XD that you want those to kind of remain on the artboard. So it's a little bit of a workaround.
Oh, okay, let me try that. Just like this?
Yeah.
All right. So then let me just make sure this is wired. Auto animate. Snap. I love the snap easing.
Snap is fun.
I know. And I'm going to set the duration to 4 seconds.
Just never do bounce.
So then once we're on this screen, I just want it to be a really, quick transition. So I'm just going to set trigger to time because it's going to be an automatic thing. And then just a dissolve animation. So let me just play that.
Ooh, fancy. Look at that.
There we go. Look at that. How cool is that? Let's do it again.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I think it may have cut from the logo to the illustration screen a little bit too fast, but those are very easy things that you can play with.
Yeah, I'll definitely. Let's see.
But yeah, that's fun.
Just that. There we go. A little slower.
Oh, so Vipin has an interesting question. He says, "Hey Marisa, I have a doubt. We already have a back button on the Google Material Design." I think he's talking about the bar at the bottom. So do we really need an extra back option? He's probably referring to the workflow down at the bottom of all the questions.
Oh, so
that's a good point. So there's yeah. Oh, see, so on the second screen you have back, right? You have next and back.
Oh, I see.
And then
what you're
built
saying.
into Android, you also have a back button at the very bottom.
Okay. Well, the back button for Android, yeah. That's actually a good question. What do you think, Howard?
I don't know. I mean, I think I'm not too familiar with Android phones, but if they all have that same bar at the bottom that allows you to go back to wherever you came from, then you may not need that extra back button. It would look a little bit strange with just a floating next button, but so unless you might have to tweak the design a little bit so that the next button maybe isn't over there to the right, maybe it's just kind of centered and it's a little bit larger. I don't know.
Yeah, I think I definitely would, take a look at Material Design and just their specifications as well, because I'm pretty sure there's something where they outline, best practices and whatnot. So maybe refer to that, the material design guide.
Yeah, totally. All right, with that said, we are going to hop over to my screen for a moment. And Marisa, do you have Discord open?
I do not.
Okay.
Let me get into Discord.
Okay. So we're going to be taking a look at a few of the Creative Challenge entries. Again, Andrea Hawk is running these. Let me actually hop over to Safari for a second. behance.net/challenge/XD. Bam. So this is the Daily Creative Challenge landing page. Andrea Hawk is currently running this round of 2 weeks, 9 challenges in total. I'm going to be running the next set, which is coming up in just a few days, actually, on next Monday. We're going to be kicking things off. And Andrea's covered a lot so far. Swipe gestures, components, voice commands, audio feedback, plugins, and today's auto animate. And every single day, we usually try to focus on one specific feature in Adobe XD and then build something with that. So today, for example, is to create a thermostat interface where users can specify temperature preferences throughout the day. And then yesterday, Andrea used plugins to design an inventory management experience for a garden shed, which is super fun. She has very creative challenges. So in the Discord server, where we have like 40,000 designers or something crazy like that, a lot of awesome people in here. Many of you have been submitting the work you've been doing for these challenges, and this one here is Gnome, and I'll just kind of go through these while Marissa's trying to log into her Discord account. I'll just look at that's okay, take your time. So this is super cool. So Gnome put together this temperature interface and interaction, and there's definitely a lot of auto animate going on. You can kind of see the masking taking place within the temperature section. The time is changing, and a lot of that is being used and created using auto animate and masks. And it looks like this thermometer over to the left is also shifting, and kind of, it almost looks like liquid, which is super fun. And this dial, and I love this little shadow. It's very soft, it's very clean. It just looks super fancy. Nice job. Let's see, what else do we have? We have this one from I'm Sparkles LP, possibly. And let's go ahead and load this, see what this is. And some of these may be yesterday's as well. Let's see if I can make this a bit bigger. Here we go, let's play this one more time. And this might be yesterday's. So we've got a drag trigger at the top to look at a bunch of flowers. We can look at the camera feeds. Nice. Very cool. I love seeing all the interesting and creative entries that many of you have come up with. This looks like a loading. So again, this was, to design an inventory management experience for a garden shed. So this one is from Mon33X. Got a great splash screen using green for the highlight color, which is very appropriate for a garden style application. If I were to give some feedback on this one in particular, it looks like there's some shadows being used to highlight some of these fruits and vegetables. And also there's a shadow on the navigation bar at the back. I would probably, in this case, avoid using shadows. It's probably not necessary. You know, the green has nice contrast with the white of the background, so it may not be necessary for that case. And also the green shadow back here, which is kind of like a glow, may not be super necessary, but overall looks pretty nice. And then we've got Hadi, who uploaded this one. This looks interesting. Let's go ahead and bring this up. Whoops, that's the wrong browser.
Bye-bye.
Oh, that didn't work very well. What is going on? Let me quit Chrome. It's going to eat up my computer. There we go. Copy this. There we go. Perfect. Okay. So we've got, where'd my sound go? There we go. Design an inventory management experience for a garden shed. So we've got your crops here. And so this is basically, it looks like it's outlining what's taken. Oh, you got the tomatoes in red. You've got green for something. Maybe green is available, possibly. I would kind of want to know what exactly, what's the green section? What's the red section? Looks like it could be tomatoes. All right, we've got carrots. All right, that looks pretty cool. I like it. I'm digging it. Ooh, there's a prototype. Tomatoes. Okay. And another one. Ooh, look at that liquid going on. Wait, let's get a closer look at that. Fancy. I like that. That looks good. Nice job. All right, next one we've got. This is day 3. So this is from Dan. Let's go ahead and copy this. Oh, it's over here. Here we go. This is a control hub. So the challenge prompt was to design the control hub for an automobile that controls temperature, ambience, and navigation. Okay, interesting. Let's take a look.
Registration check.
Oh, there's some audio too. I think you all should be able to hear that. Let's play that one more time.
Registration check.
It's kind of fancy. I would love some sort of like HUD over top of my windshield when I'm driving, just to kind of give me some contextual information, whether it's navigation or I guess if you're a cop, you can see registration information or temperature, that sort of thing.
Registration check.
Oh, look at this. He's even incorporated onto a video. Nice job. That's fancy. Super creative. Let's see, what else do we have? Here's Melina from this is the garden as well. All right. So because I'm not super familiar with what Andrea designed live, there's a little bit of context that's missing here. So what I would say, especially people who are putting together pages on Behance, I would definitely say, add some additional context like some of the other posters did, just so that we kind of know if someone's brand new, they're logging in for the first time, landing on these pages, if they're not quite sure what this is, it might be a little bit difficult to understand. Design-wise, it looks pretty nice. I would say probably try to make these a little bit larger, the days of the week here, especially if they're going to be interacted with. This looks pretty good over here. It's a little bit hard to see with the white.
I can see, sorry.
Oh, there you go.
Sorry for the silence on my end. I was having trouble with I'm locked out of my account, sorry.
Oh no, that's okay.
But I can see your wonderful design. I think it looks so good. It's making me hungry.
Of course. Especially almost 2 hours into a stream, we're getting very hungry.
Yeah, this looks so great. So
pretty cool.
Okay, this is like a desktop experience?
I think it might be.
Oh, okay. Home flowers, garden flowers, fruit trees. Yeah, that looks great.
Yeah.
My only, I guess, feedback would be the outline around the cherry. It looks like it's kind of extending beyond the shadow. So that's a little trippy to the eye, but I think it looks great overall.
Totally. So I'm going to go to this next one, which is from Amy. And this was also for the Smart Garden. So right away, what I would probably mention, it looks like, so in this presentation down here, oh, there's some audio.
Watering schedule, please.
Hopefully you can all hear this. Okay, so it's using voice to navigate around. What I would say, here it looks pretty good. Everything is the right size, but at the top here in this display in this iPad, everything's kind of squished, and whenever possible, you probably want to avoid that because everything looks very distorted. So I would say, if it doesn't perfectly fit in a device like an iPad, get rid of the device and just have a nice large header image at the top. And same one over here. But design-wise, I think the colors look really nice. I love that greenish blue. I don't know what you would call that. What do you call that color, Marissa?
Aqua.
Aqua.
Call that aqua.
That's probably the one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's a delay. Sorry, I'm watching from Behance.
That's okay.
Get into Discord. Sorry.
That's all right. Yeah, there's about a 15-second delay or so. But yeah, I think this looks really nice.
Yeah, it looks great.
Nice. Let's see what else. We'll take a look at one or two more. Here's some feedback from our great moderators. We've got Julia, who posted this. I believe Julia might be in the chat. I think I saw Julia earlier. This is also
hi, Julia.
Garden application, I believe. So the screen on the left, and Marissa, you'll be able to see this eventually. This screen looks super clean, super nice. I don't have much feedback for this one. I would maybe say, if I'm getting really nitpicky, is bring the navigation bar at the top down just a touch. It's a little bit too close to the notch at the top. Some people with larger fingers might have a harder time, tapping on certain elements. But the screen on the right with the semi-transparent buttons, people are throwing a bunch of colors. Seafoam, teal, yeah. You can go, aqua is good too. But yeah, seafoam or teal would probably work for that. Yeah, but the buttons on the right-hand side, I would say the transparent areas are a little bit too transparent, especially with white icons and text. So I would what would I do in this case? I would probably reduce the transparency. I would try a background blur. If you're not trying a background blur already, I would try a background blur, maybe darken the background blur possibly, and make sure to really crank up the amount of the background blur. That way it's not clashing too much with the image in the back, and that way the text is a little bit easier to read. I would also increase the weight of that text and maybe even the icon a touch, especially viewing it like this. It's a little bit difficult to see, and the same goes for the text over here and down at the bottom as well. So just make sure that there's a nice amount of contrast.
Yeah, I agree. It's a little hard to see because it's blending in with the background, so a nice background blur and just a black overlay would definitely make it stand out and make it pop.
Yep, I agree. But overall, especially the screen on the left, super clean, super nice. So you've got some feedback. This one is from Masi, I think. If I mispronounced your name, I do apologize. And this looks like for the temperature application. So what I would say, it's hard to see this as a tiny image, but what I would say for this one is there's a lot of unused space on this particular design. There's big gap over here. There's a bit of a gap here. There's this curvy line down here. So whenever you have a lot of unused space and you have a lot of elements kind of at the top, try to space things out a little bit. It'll give the users a much better experience. It'll allow them to very easily tap and interact with things, and it'll be a little bit easier to see, which is always nice. And it looks like Akin did give some good feedback over here, so definitely go through that. And let's go ahead and take a look at one more. This one looks fun.
Ooh, I love that wavy. I love the waves. That looks
it's
so
interesting.
Cool.
I would love to see that animated as well.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a look at this one. This one's from Ed, it looks like, and Ed has participated in quite a few of our daily challenges. And this one is to create an interface for a shower that allows users to set water temperature, play music, or adjust water pressure. You definitely know when we're getting into the future, when there's like these interfaces for showers and stuff like that. Yeah. When I grew up, there was just a knob. You turn the knob, the water came out. You didn't have to deal with any technology. But yeah, very soon we're going to have like AR implanted in our faces, and we'll be able to just like control the temperature. There'll be no knobs anymore. It'll just be all like screens on our shower walls. We live in a weird world, but
I can't wait till you can choose a food. Like it's augmented reality and you just swipe through, different meals and then somehow it's prepared for you automatically.
Oh, it's like the Fifth Element where you just like press a button and then food synthesizes, or I don't know if that's the word, but yeah. In terms of the design on this, I think it's super nice. The only thing that stands out is, I would say, the gradient on, like the highlighted gradient. It looks almost like it's probably a radial gradient, I would imagine. I would try to go for maybe a linear gradient instead of radial on the air and the timer, like the active section or the filled up section, whatever you want to call it. I would go for a radial gradient, a linear gradient instead. It almost looks like it's trying to become 3D, but it's not working super well at the moment. So play around with that and see if you can, do something with that. And let's take a look at...
Aumenta la temperatura a 39 grados.
Ooh, fancy. So I didn't understand that.
Al 90%.
I think it's Spanish. But it's cool to see that voice is being used
al nivel 2.
to interact with this
Estás
design.
escuchando Claro de Luna de Claude Debussy.
It even speaks back to you. That's fancy. I love that. And I love the animation as well. Nice job. Any last feedback for this one, Marisa?
Yeah, I think this is really great. I do agree. I think the gradient would look maybe a little cleaner if it was linear, or even just a solid color. Maybe just play around with that some more. I wish I could hear, or did it play? Was there a sound?
It did. So in the video at the bottom, Ed, who created this, was speaking Spanish. I'm not sure what he was saying, but he basically asked the application probably to adjust the temperature. And then at the end of it,
cool.
at the end of it, XD actually spoke back and said something.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. Like the fact that you're using voice prototyping, like that's taking it to the next level. That's amazing.
Yeah, and I love that XD's voice prototyping works in so many different languages. Awesome. All right, so we're going to hop back over to your screen. We have about 8 minutes left or so. And if you want to give us a recap of what you've done or make a few changes or go crazy with it.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to finish up the prototyping and just wire all the artboards and just really flesh out the whole app experience.
Nice, it's all coming together.
Yeah, okay, so let us go through the login sign up process. So because we're a new user, we're going to want to sign up. So should we think of some more names?
I think the cat's trying to give you some suggestions.
Yeah, she's really hungry right now.
What is your cat's name?
Casey. Her name is Casey.
Nice.
And guess what it stands for?
I don't know.
KC, kitty cat.
Oh, okay. I should have got that.
She's my baby. I've had her for 15 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
We've had her dog for about 10. It's a long time.
I know. Time flies, though. I don't know where time's going. All right. So first name is Bumble. How do you guys feel about that?
It works. It's very appropriate for the application.
Very. So now I'm just going to enter an email. So Bumble at adobeXD.com. I just want to make sure this doesn't have an opacity because it's the field is active.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just trying to make sure it's not. Oops. There we go. Okay, our password's just gonna be password 123.
That's a very bad password.
Or okay, let's make it a little more realistic. 1, 2, 3. There you go.
That'll work.
All right, so let's just wire this. All right, so sign up, tap trigger. We're going to transition using dissolve animation. And then let's wire this.
So Laura is asking, is Marisa going to stream the next steps in YouTube? And I believe earlier you mentioned that you're going to be continuing some of this on Behance, actually.
Yeah, I'm so excited to be a part of, there's, I think, almost 100 live streamers all on Behance right now. So yeah, definitely check out, I'm hoping to be live streaming either this week, next week, just very soon. And I definitely will take this app to the next level.
Nice.
So
I can't
stay
wait
tuned.
to tune in.
And I'm hoping to stream on my YouTube, but that's kind of a technical thing I have to set up. But Behance for sure.
Nice. Yeah, I'm excited to see the Behance streaming program open up. We started with just a few. Of course, at the very beginning, it was just the Adobe Live shows, the internal ones, and now we have streamers from all over the world streaming live, different applications from Fresco to Photoshop to 3D design, a lot of cool stuff, and we're going to continue to expand that program as we see fit. Of course, we want to make sure that there's no bugs and the servers can, don't overload and explode. But it's getting there. We definitely, like Marisa said, there's about 100 or so people. I don't know the exact number, but there's definitely a lot of streamers right now on Behance, and there are more to come.
Okay, so I'm trying to wire the pagination and wire the carousel. So when you're tapping it, it's going to slide to the next onboarding screen.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just trying to make sure everything works. So I want this to be triggered by tap, transition, dissolve animation. Let me just see how that works. There we go. And then same thing, tap, transition, dissolve animation.
If you want to get really fun during your streams, instead of those little dots for the pagination, you can have a little bee that kind of flies across.
That would be so funny. Okay. So now that we're on the third screen, we're going to click Get Started. So I'm just going to do a simple dissolve transition.
Mm-hmm.
Just test that out. Go. Get started. All right. How's everyone in the chat? Do you guys like this experience so far? What are your thoughts? Let me know.
Yeah, let Marisa know. We do have about a minute left, so definitely throw any last questions or comments in there, and definitely go follow Marisa on YouTube and Twitter. That way you know when she, and of course Behance, that way you know when she does go live and finishes this up. I can't talk. Yeah. It's like 2 hours in and my voice is just gone.
Yeah. Water is finished, voice gone.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so almost done. Let's just wire plan to the blend screen. Name screen, and then the register. There we go. Let's see what that looks like. We can scroll. Awesome. I should wire back icon. Let me do that. This is going to bring us back to the home screen. Let's test that out. There we go. And just one more wire.
Chris says it's been unbelievable. Well done, Chris.
I love, keep the puns coming, keep them coming.
Yeah, every stream has to have puns in them.
Right. So let's start from the beginning. I think we've wired everything we could wire in 60 seconds. Genesis, sign up, Bumble. Nice to meet you, Bumble. Sign up. We are in the app. Oh, we can create a business plan. We can name our business. Really cool. Oh, we could design a brand. How exciting. Oh, this is the home screen. So many things to do. I'm a business owner. I want to plan. Actually, oops.
Oh,
no.
We have like 10 seconds before we get cut off. While Marissa's
Okay.
doing that, big thank you to everyone joining us live here on Behance. Mika and Chris and Akin and Voodoo Val, Cheryl, Vipin. Who else do we have?
Thank you so much for joining us, guys. Thank
yeah.
you so much for the suggestions.
Where can people find you, Marisa?
Find me on YouTube. Find me on Behance. I believe I'm Marisa N. Blair on Behance, and I'm Exopixel with 2 L's on YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram, because my name isn't exclusive. It's been taken by someone else. I wish I had a way to, do a name search.
Indeed. Well, but a big thank you to everyone. We're about to get cut off. Thanks again, everyone, and we will stick around. We have more stuff coming up in just a few minutes. See you later.